The Curse of the Stolen Shadows. Once upon a time, in a serene village of Umudim, located in the eastern part of Nigeria, there lived a young maiden named Adanna. Adanna was the only child of her parents, as her mom couldn't have any other child after giving birth to Adanna. Her parents raised her so well, with good manners, and she was also very smart. Her radiant beauty, kind heart, and wiseness captured the admiration of all who knew her. However, there was someone who didn't like Adanna: Malia. Malia was a beautiful woman who also happened to be a witch. She had always been the most beautiful lady in the village until they gave birth to Adanna. Malia had tried everything in her power and beyond her power to be more beautiful than Adanna, but everything she did had failed. So she grew more envious of Adanna every single day, and eventually envy turned into serious hatred. And with time, she started looking for ways to tarnish the poor girl's image. One day, Adanna was washing clothes in her compound when her mom's friend came to meet her.
Adanna, how are you doing today?
"I'm fine, Ma," Adanna replied.
Is your mom home?
"No, Ma, she went to the women's meeting. I thought you were supposed to be there too."
Yes, much in a Marie there. But I fried some athara for you. I knew you liked athara. I hope you like them.
She said while giving Adanna some well-fried akara balls. Adanna loved akara balls so much and hurriedly collected it and started munching on things without giving much thought to it because, of course, this was her mom's friend and she trusted that woman. "Thank you so much. I love them," Adanna said while continuously stuffing her mouth with the akara balls. Meanwhile, the woman left the house, and as she turned a corner, she turned into the malicious Malia, and she laughed wickedly as she disappeared into thin air. Malia, bitter and resentful of Adanna's beauty and popularity, had cast a wicked spell upon her. She knew the young girl loved akara, and so she cast some evil spells on it and shape-shifted into Adanna's mom's friend, whom they trusted so much and had given Adanna the akara to eat. Normally, one would cause someone to steal food items or money or jewelries, but this was not the case. Adanna was cursed to steal the shadows of the villagers every night. And the same people she brought happiness to, she was cursed to take it away from them. If you take one's shadow away, you drain their life force and happiness. So, whenever nighttime arrives, Adanna will lose control of her own body and then walk from hut to hut, stealing people's shadows. And soon, one hut turned into another, and another, and another. And soon, the whole thriving village was plunged into despair. Adanna knew what she did every night because her mind was still intact, but she never had control of her body. Seeing her once happy community, it broke her heart to know that she was the cause of the misfortune that had befell her village, and she knew she had to do something about it. First, she had to consult the village eldest and wisest woman, who also happened to be the village seer, whom everyone went to when they had problems. On getting to the hut, the old woman asked her to sit down, that she knew why she was here, and she had been waiting for her. She told her everything she needed to know about Malia, and she also asked if she wanted to break the curse. And of course, Adanna said yes. The old woman told her to break the curse, Malia had to die. And the only way Malia was to die was for Adanna to go to the source of where Malia got her powers, and she had to cut her power source. Her power source could be found in the middle of two mountains in between their village and the next, but before she would be able to break the curse, she would go through 3 temptations, and if she can overcome them, she would get to the source and cut it. But she also warned her that Malia would know what she was up to and she would be waiting for her there. So she had to get ready to fight Malia. It was going to be a 3-day journey and Adanna had to be ready. The old lady gave her an amulet to protect her and also left her with 3 instructions.
Don't drink from the spring leak, no matter how tasty you get. Make sure not to talk to friendly girls in the forest. Trust me, they're not so friendly. And when in doubt, touch the amulet, it will guide you.
With that, Adanna left the old woman's hut and hurried back to her hut to get ready for the journey. And in all of this, she never told her parents a word. Adanna began her journey into the forest. In the beginning, it was quite smooth. She met some of her friends on the way and she greeted them. But they replied her in a very dull tone because apparently Adanna had also stolen their shadows. She knew this, so she didn't bother asking why. She ventured deeper into the forest and soon she was approaching the outskirts of the village. Adanna has never traveled out of the village before, so she didn't know if she was supposed to take her left or her right. She thought hard, but still couldn't figure it out. Then she remembered what the old lady told her, that when in doubt, touch the amulet. So Adanna closed her eyes and touched the necklace, and soon a small voice whispered to her,
Take the path where 2 twin palm trees are.
And as Adanna opened her eyes, she saw 2 trees that looked alike on her right path, and she took the path. She continued walking, and soon Adanna was very far from her village and deep in the forest. It was getting dark, and she was getting really scared because apparently animals were making creepy sounds, and there was no hut in sight. Suddenly, she heard some maidens laughing, and she became relieved because she thought she had found people that she would be able to beg for an accommodation for the night. Thank God, finally I'm going to have a place to sleep. She walked towards the girls for help, and they smiled in a very friendly manner and asked her to follow them, which she did. The girls proceeded to take her deeper into the forest. For hours they kept walking. Are we getting any clues? Adanna asked.
Just a little longer,
They replied. They continued walking for about 2 more hours. By now it was already very dark and Adanna was getting really scared. Suddenly, a little voice whispered in her ear,
Turn around and run.
and Adanna immediately remembered what the old lady had warned her about some friendly friends on her way. She immediately took to her heels and started running as fast as her legs could carry her. And as she ran, she could hear the girls' evil laughter. She continued running for hours until she was out of breath, and then she fell down and passed out. Waking up later, it was bright already. It took her a while to figure out where she was, and she stood up and started walking again. Luckily for her, she found a stream nearby. She drank some water and cleaned herself up, and soon she was on her way again. This time she decided she wasn't going to fall for any temptation again. She had been walking for about 4 hours, and she was getting really tired and hungry. But there was no food or water, so she just sat down to relax a little. And as she was resting, she started hearing a faint rush sound. She wondered where that could be. But soon the sound became clearer, until it was clear enough for Adanna to notice that there was a stream nearby. She hurriedly got up and started running to where the sound was coming from. On getting there, it was the most beautiful spring she had ever seen. The urge to drink and jump inside to have a swim was strong. But as she was about doing that, she remembered the old lady's words again and stopped herself from doing that. And as she looked at the spring one last time, she turned to leave. But what she did not know was that as she left that place, the spring also disappeared. Luckily for Adanna, she found a small stream where she could drink and soak herself a little, and soon she was on her way again. Very soon, Adanna had gotten to the mountains, and she was so happy knowing that she had finally reached her destination. But she was also a bit frightened knowing that Malia was waiting for her. She couldn't see Malia anywhere yet. Not that she would know if she saw her, but she had an idea since the old woman already described her. So instead, Adanna started looking for the source. She searched and searched, and after hours of searching, she sat down disappointed because she couldn't find anything. Adanna spotted a big mango tree filled with ripe mangoes, and she was so happy. She went to the tree and climbed to pluck as many mangoes as she could. Then she set foot to eat. She sat down under the mango tree and started eating the mangoes. Suddenly, the tree started to vibrate, and she hurriedly stood up and looked at the tree. She could notice a black smoke coming out from the tree, and soon it started to crack open. Adanna was scared because she had eaten from the tree, but nothing was happening to her. And as she stared at the tree, her eyes widened in bewilderment. As the tree turned into a large snake, Adanna was so scared because she had nothing to protect herself with. She touched the amulet and begged it to help her. Suddenly, it was like a force pulled her back, and a sword magically appeared in her hand. And it was like she gained extra strength. And soon she started wrestling with the snake. They wrestled for hours, and with one big blow from her sword, the snake fell to the ground, struggling for its life. Soon she noticed the spot where the tree had been was empty, but there was a glow of green lights coming from the surface. She ran there and noticed that there was parts in the earth that was breathing, and with all her strength, she drove her sword into the surface, and immediately the light died down. But before she could move, the light got brighter and brighter, and soon, with a very loud noise, it blew up, and green substance was splashed everywhere. A piercing scream could be heard, and as Adanna turned, she saw Malia struggling and shouting on the floor in pain. And soon she stopped moving, so the beautiful and dangerous witch, Malia, was dead. Adanna suddenly started feeling dizzy, and soon she passed out. When she woke up again, she noticed she wasn't on a hard sandy surface. She looked around and noticed that she was in fact in her room and on her bed. She was surprised as to how she got there. The villagers, on the other hand, had all gotten their shadows back, and everyone went back to being happy. And the village returned back to the thriving village that it used to be before the end.